Cheteshwar Pujara, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us. Let me begin by asking you, are the bruises slightly better? There's a lovely story about you in the Indian Express about how your daughter said that, I will kiss Papa wherever he's gotten hurt and he will be better. So you've had some time with the family.
Yeah, I had an amazing time back home. It was good to see them after a long time. And yes, I mean the bruises are much better now. Not a lot of pain anymore. Uh, uh, but yes, I mean it was good to be back home and see the family for a bit because we are entering into the England series soon. So yeah, I mean it's good to be at home.
Just talking about that innings in Brisbane, Meha and I were both watching it on TV, and we counted. You were hit 11 times, and each time we were watching, and we were just grimacing while watching you on TV. What was going through your mind, Cheteshwar, during that time? Because in many ways, that if you had to draw or win this test, a lot of it was about you just remaining at the wicket. Can you talk us through your own thought process?
Yeah, so I had a clear game plan, and the plan was to make sure that we don't lose any wickets in the first session, or try and lose I'm trying not to lose too many wickets in the first session which will give them an advantage moving into the second and third session. So yes, I mean fortunately we just lost one wicket in the first session, and my game plan was very clear that even if I don't get too many runs in the first session, I'll just stick around, try and get set, and then try and accelerate in the second and third sessions. And which is what happened. I mean, fortunately, I was not out when I came into the lunch session. After at the end of the lunch session, though I didn't get too many runs, but I was very confident that we will be able to accelerate in the second session.
Just going back to the innings, Cheteshwar, so you were hit around 11 times, right? Everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think the last one was when it was the visor that came off, right? On the head helmet. Tell me at that exact point, you just gave a dirt, as I remember it. And when we were watching it, we were like, if I get a chance to speak to Cheteshwar at some point, I'm going to ask him, what did you think in your head? What was it? Tell us.
Well, see, getting hit on the head wasn't very painful because you have protection of helmet. Yes, it looks very scary when you're watching it on TV. And even as a batter, don't want to get hit on the helmet. Forget about the pain or the bruises. But yeah, that's the part where you don't want to get it. But talking about that pitch, I feel that it had variable bounce, and especially from one end. The ball wasn't rising much, or at times it was rising a bit more than what I was expecting. So it was becoming very difficult to defend those balls with the bat, because there was there was an option of defending with the bat, but I felt that which wasn't the safe option, because if it hits your glove and then it could go to short leg slip or gully, or you can be out caught behind. So I wanted to rule that option out, and that is why I was taking blows on my body. And getting hit on the helmet wasn't ideal, but I wasn't worried about it. The reason is I knew that as long as I'm there, as long as I'm getting hit on the body, and if I'm not getting out, then it's fine. Couple of blows were really painful, and the one which hit me below the shoulder second time was a little painful, and the most painful was the one where I got hit on my finger, because that was the second time I got hit there. Before the third test match, actually, during the practice session at Melbourne, I got hit on that finger. So I was carrying that injury in third and fourth test match. I wouldn't call it an injury, but yeah, there was a bit of bruise on that finger.
Cheteshwar, everybody seems to have an opinion about how you should bat. Really. Everybody seems to have an opinion on it. But do you sometimes feel underappreciated? Because we know what you bring to the team. Be it Nottingham, Colombo, South Africa, there is Ranchi. you've saved this team as many times as Virat Kohli, if not more. Um, what goes through your mind when you hear things, or when, I'm sure, because everything is on social media these days, what is it that you think about?
I first of all, I try and avoid the outside noise. I don't look at the social media when I'm playing a test series. I completely avoid it. What are the views on my batting or the Indian team? So I try and stay away from it. I try and stay away from any article or any news which are positive or negative. Whether even if I've done well and if someone has written a good article about it, I'll try and avoid it, especially during the series. So mentally, I'm in a decent space. But yes, there are times when I still get to know about it from someone that this person has said this, or this person has commented like this, or social media is talking about this. So I only, when I'm batting, I always try and tell myself that when I'm batting, my goal is to make sure that I do the right thing for the team. Whether it might look ugly, it might look like I'm not comfortable there, but I know what is best for the team, because I've played so many test matches. I've been part of this team for so many years. So I know what is best for the team. And in that particular situation, what can I do to help the team to get into a good position? And it's not just about the test experience, it's also about the first class experience, because I've played for Saurashtra. I know, I mean, now my first class games are more than 200. So I know this particular format, if the team is in trouble, or if there's a situation, how one can handle it. And I try and do my best according to my knowledge, or what I know, what suits me, or what suits my strength, which can help the team.
Chitrisha, how difficult is it to play this Australian attack? Because they give you very little and they hit the deck very hard.
Yeah, I feel it's one of the best bowling attack in Test cricket. If you look at all the good Test playing countries nowadays, like when it comes to fast bowling, I think Australia is probably the best. Next would be England and New Zealand when it comes to playing overseas. So yes, Australia is one of the best. I mean, they have one of the best bowling attacks in the world. Because they have a good spinner as well. We most of the times we talk about their fast bowling, but they have Nathan Lyon, who has done exceptionally well for Australian team over a period of time. So yes, I mean, their bowling lineup is one of the best, and as a batter, you should look up to facing such challenges, because I look forward to facing such challenges, and that is how I feel that I can be successful. Because if I don't look at who the bowlers are. When I'm batting, I'll just try and look at the ball. So when you're batting, you can't think who the bowler is. If it's Pat Cummins or Hazelwood or Stark or Nathan Lyon, whoever it is, you just need to make sure that you watch the ball properly and then try and bat accordingly.
Cheteshwar, we spoke to Navdeep a little while back, and one of the things we asked him was about what was that like, the camaraderie between the players in the team. And, I asked him that as a new player in the side, did you feel any less, for the lack of a better word, important? Was there, because I was talking to him, I asked him कि आपको कभी ऐसा लगा कि आप उस टीम का हिस्सा थोड़ा कम हो, क्योंकि आप और नटराजन और शार्दुल, Washington Sundar, आप लोग नए हो. So एक चीज that he said was that there was nothing like that. The team, I always see my senior players as my big brother. And so I want to ask you, as the senior player in that side, with you and Ajinkya, by the end of it all, you two were the ones really the senior most. What was the conversation with some of the players who were making debuts? What was the conversation?
So we were trying to pass on the information. We were trying to tell them that what are the good line and length in such country. It's not easy for a bowler to change their line and length, especially when they are making debut or they are playing with their first or second game. But they did it pretty well ultimately. They were finding it a little difficult initially because when you're bowling with Kookaburra ball, most of our fast bowlers have the experience of playing with SG ball in India.
Yeah.
So when you're playing with Kookaburra ball and in Australian conditions where there's a lot of pace and bounce, so you might get carried away of either trying to bowl a little short or try and pitch it up a bit more, which you ideally don't need to do. So we were just trying to tell them which are the ideal lengths, which are the ideal lines according to a batter. So you need to have a game plan for each and every batsman, and most of them knew about it. But sometimes when you're bowling, there's a lot of pressure on them. So you just try and communicate that what is an ideal length, what they need to do to get better. Because sometimes when you're getting hit 2-3 boundaries in an over, suddenly you are under pressure. Your mind goes blank. You don't know what to do. So in such situation, you just need to give them a lot of confidence and tell them that you can still do it. And I'm sure, with more experience, they will learn, they'll get better. Because if you look at the way, the kind of young talent we have, we are very confident that we can be a good side even in future. But yes, you need to tell them the right things. You need to make sure that they understand what is expected out of them.
Just coming back to your performance, overall your batting in this series, your overall performance, where will you rate this when you perhaps look back at your career years from now?
It's been one of the best series. Maybe number-wise, it might not sound like a big number. It wasn't bad, but if we compare it to the last Test series which I did in Australia, where I scored 3 centuries, but if we look at this particular series, anyways, there was only 1 century from the Indian team, and there was only 2 from the Australian team in all four matches. So there were not many runs scored because the pitches were challenging. But if I look at this series, it is one of the best Test series I've been part of, considering that kind of team which we had. We had a lot of injuries. We missed out so many players in last 2 Test matches. So yeah, I felt it was one of the best Test victories I've been part of. Each and every time you play in Australia or against Australia, Australia has always been a challenging team to play against. We remember the 2017 Test series, which I feel which was one of the toughest Test series I have been part of. Although it was in India, the kind of challenge they threw at us was really good. So yes, whenever we play against Australia, it's never been easy, and victories are always tough to earn. So we always enjoy the victories against Australian team.
Yeah, no, I just want to ask one question, because of course, to go from 36 all out, which I think we can all agree that was a once in a generation type performance, and I believe that's what the team said, isko bhul jao. But then to go from there to the MCG, to win there, and then to go to Sydney and pull off that epic draw, which was on par with the win, and then to finally rock up at the Gabba where they'd not lost for 32 odd years, and then to win. What does it say, Cheteshwar, about the team's belief? Every match you played, you lost key personnel.
Yeah, I think it shows the character of the team. I felt being bowled out for 36 was very tough for all of us to digest. Because even if you look at the first Test match, first 2 days, the way we were playing, we were ahead in the game.
Yep.
And then that 1 hour or 1.5 hours where we lost all the wickets and we were bowled out for 36 was very tough to accept. But yes, the best part was we moved on. We had a chat that this is something which is in the past. Also, the fact was we were playing with the pink ball where we were slightly less experienced compared to the Australian team.
Yeah.
So what we spoke was about thinking of a next 3 Test matches or maybe starting a new series where it's 3 Test matches and we need to 1 out. And we were very confident that if we win the second Test match, there'll be pressure on them, and that is exactly what happened. Things played a brilliant inning. at Melbourne, and we went on to win that Test match. And once it was 1-1, then all the pressure was on Australian team, because we were supposed to play at Sydney in the third Test match, where our track record was really good. I feel, I mean, I don't know the stats, but India hasn't lost too many Test matches at Sydney. We have played really well at Sydney, so that was an advantage for us moving into the third Test match. And the way the guys played, I felt it again. I mean, it looked like it was a good pitch, but still, we had to bat well, we had to bowl well. So guys did a fantastic job to do that Test match. And then moving on to Gabba, I don't feel. I mean, it's the way the thing was portrayed, that Australia has never lost a Test match over there. They've played good cricket. So there was a lot of pressure on us as well at times, but I felt that the guys never thought about what will happen. I thought we stuck to our process. We believed in what we had been doing throughout the series, and we cut down the outside noise, where we just wanted to play good cricket, and we did it throughout the test series. And the best part about that series is we played good cricket throughout all days, and it came down to the last day. Yep. And it came down to the last session, which was series defining. So yes, I mean, credit goes to all the players, because everyone has contributed at times, and all the the guys who replaced, starting from like when Rohit came in, he did well. Shubman came in, he did well. Washington and Shardul played in the last game. Siraj played 2 Test matches. So I feel that whoever got an opportunity, they were ready and they were eager to contribute, and all of, I mean, the credit goes to the team, because everyone played their part.
Now, Ashwin has thrown an open challenge to you. I don't know if you've heard of it, since you keep all the social media and the noise out. But the challenge is that if you step down the track and hit any of the England spinners over the top, he's going to cut half of his mustache and walk out and bat. Have you heard of this challenge?
Yeah, I've heard of it, but it was a light-hearted comment, and I wouldn't take that seriously at all, because I just need to bat the way I know. It's just a funny banter which he has spoken about, but I won't go too deeply into that and worry too much about it. Because,
it'll be nice to see him with half the mustache, though. What do you say?
I would prefer to score 100 or even a double 100. Whatever. I would prefer to score runs rather than see him with that face. So my goal is to score runs rather than worry about how I score them.
Okay.
Just one last question. Of course, now you have 4 Test matches against England, a team which has been informed, that they're coming off 2-0 in Sri Lanka. How do you see this series, Cheteshwar?
It will be a challenging series without a doubt, but the advantage we have is we have done well overseas. Now we are playing in India, which is a familiar condition for us. So guys are looking forward to play our home series. We haven't played a home series since some time now.
Yep.
So it'll be a good opportunity for all the players to be a little relaxed and still at the same time, use the conditions in our favor, because most of the guys have played at Chennai, though Ahmedabad will be a new pitch.
Right.
But most of us have played at that venue. So, yeah, I feel that it'll be exciting to play in India again. And England is a good side, so we are not taking them lightly at all. But we would try and stick to our game plan. We'll try and stick to our strengths.
Sure.
Well, we wish you all the very best, Cheteshwar.
Thank you.
We were thinking of this, that, how difficult is it? You've just come back from an absolutely grueling series and you're on to the next one. You will soon be quarantining as well. But thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us. It's been really a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All the best for the series. Wish you the best.